Hi, I'm Katelyn Evans, Program Coordinator here at the Akron Art Museum. In this monthly series we're calling Lunchtime 5 Get Art, staff at the museum will provide some context to what we're calling big ideas in art. For this month's Get Art, I'll be chatting about some of the reasons why artists might use found objects and/or imagery in their artwork. So artists typically have used their own intrinsic inspiration for their artwork, where they pull from their brain, and/or they might pull from the world around them for inspiration. Found objects are any object, thing, image that is found naturally occurring, like a tree branch or fossils, seashells, you name it. Or it is made by human life, like photographs, a spool, food packaging, anything that's manufactured or fabricated. Found objects are everywhere. So it's no wonder why artists began using these found objects and incorporating them into their artworks or processes. And most notably, this began around the late 1800s, early 1900s, with artists like Pablo Picasso using found objects in collages, or Marcel Duchamp, an artist who used a lot of found objects to create sculptures. These artworks, like I kind of just mentioned, can be two-dimensional or three-dimensional. So Duchamp's ready-mades are what he calls the found objects that he uses and incorporates in his artwork. So he selects these manufactured art objects and modifies them. In this work, titled Couple of Laundresses' Aprons, Duchamp uses ready-mades of cloth, fur, and a zipper for this commentary on puritanical American sensibilities. While this Duchamp piece has a commentary and humor to it, this work by Doris Salcedo is based on a deep, direct political context. Salcedo's country, Colombia, is where civil war and the drug trade have made disappearances and violent death common occurrences. Salcedo learned that most of the families could only determine the identity of those in mass graves by recognizing their shoes. Each niche contains one or two shoes, most still bearing footprints or scuffs. She quotes, "By presenting a story of a victim of violence in Colombia, I am calling on the memory of pain which all humans have, here or anywhere else in the world." Other artists, like La Wilson, for example, use found objects because of how they visually attract to her. She describes, "First I collect anything that appeals, for whatever reasons. Then I start putting things together, usually in a box, and what often happens is these everyday, mundane things change their essential nature when juxtaposed in unexpected ways with other material." So here we have La Wilson's homage to Jackson Pollock 1, and you can see it's what she calls an assemblage. And if you are able to squint your eyes and look a little closer, you'll see that that's a combination of a bunch of toys and beads and kind of seemingly random childlike objects that she's assembled into this window pane box. And to follow up with this homage to Jackson Pollock 1 is this retrospective piece we have in the collection. And here, this is towards the end of La Wilson's career, where she organized all of the objects she worked with in the past in her works and organized them into this type tray. So circling back to Duchamp's undertone of humor in this ready-made, artists like John Sokol, for example, use found objects to create tongue-in-cheek commentary on art history and references to pop culture. Sokol considers Serial a tongue-in-cheek commentary on artists such as Andy Warhol, Sol LeWitt, and Donald Judd, who were creating serial imagery in the late 1960s. Serial art involves a repetition of images or forms with slight variations to each one, most notably in silkscreen printmaking. So with this piece called Serial that Sokol has made, it's a collage on paper, so he's taking these cereal boxes and doing his best to line them up perfectly in a serial pattern, these cereal boxes, so definitely tongue-in-cheek. And the only variations amongst the multiples of these he created is how the tape was kind of ripped and placed onto the paper. So yeah, it's no wonder why artists use found objects in their work or their practices as a means of inspiration, for aesthetic reasons, for commentary on consumerism, on politics, you name it, artists are doing it and have been doing it. So I encourage you to take a look at our collection online and try to find some more found object pieces or found images. And, when you take a look around your house or when you go to, I don't know, anywhere else in the world, try to think of how you would use these found objects and what inspires you about them. Is it their texture, the shape, what they represent, the symbols within them. So thank you so much for tuning in for this month's Get Art. I'm Katelyn Evans, and I'll see you around.